Now welcome back to the yearly Stick on the Ice Classic, where the Edmonton Oilers look like absolute frauds through the first 20 to 30 games. I make a video on them, and then they proceed to win like 12 in a row or something. I'm pretty sure this has happened the past 2 years. At some point I make a video calling the Edmonton Oilers absolutely trash, and then they proceed to go on the biggest heater of all time. Well, we're doing that again this season. Y'all just allowed 8 goals to the Dallas Stars. Now there's a couple takeaways I had from that game. Number 1, Stuart Skinner, I am actually going to cut you a little bit of slack today. I think this might be the second time ever I have given Stuart Skinner a little bit of slack. Now Skinner, don't get me wrong, you did not play good in that game. However, your defense was so atrocious in front of you. You could have had a prime Patrick Waugh in between the pipes, and y'all still would have probably allowed 6 goals. This man had zero help in front of him. The defense is absolutely cooked on this team. This team is terrible. Like, I cannot gas this team up at all. They are terrible from top to bottom. They do not know how to play defense. But guess what? You didn't know how to play defense last season, and you didn't know how to play defense the year before that, and you didn't know how to play defense the year before that. This team over the past 10 years or so have never been super elite defensively, and over the past 10 years they have never had an elite goaltender. So you would think they would eventually reach a point where they said, hey, we should go improve our defense, we need to be better defensively, and we need to get a better goaltender because we don't have a good goaltender. But they said, nah, we have Connor McDavid, he can just solve all of our problems. And McDavid, you can't solve the problems now. You're still one of the leading scorers in the NHL, but it doesn't matter. But that still doesn't matter because your bottom 6 can't score, nobody can defend a pylon, and Stuart Skinner can't make a single save. So today we're trading the entire Edmonton Oilers team except for Connor McDavid. He's the only one that deserves to stay here. I mean, Leon Draisaitl, you deserve to stay here as well, and Nugent Hopkins, you probably deserve to stay here as well, and even Zach Hyman. But it doesn't matter. I'm trading you 3 guys as well. McDavid's the only player staying on this team. Now it's kind of funny because I don't think I ever made this take publicly. I might have, but I'm not 100% sure. But my belief always was if Connor McDavid took a team-friendly contract, that would actually hurt the Edmonton Oilers more than help them, for the sole reason of I don't trust their management. I feel like if Connor McDavid gave them a bit of extra money, they would do something stupid. Like, they might even give Trent Frederick, Stick on the Ice legend by the way, an 8-year deal. Now granted, they gave him that 8-year deal before they signed Connor McDavid, but that's what happens when you give the Edmonton Oilers a little bit of cap space. They don't make the right decisions. So my personal opinion always was Connor McDavid, you would probably be better off taking $18 million because you at least know that $18 million is going to Connor McDavid. I'd be perfectly fine with paying Connor McDavid $18 million. If you give them an extra $6 million, they will probably spend it in the wrong way and it'll probably just end up hurting your team. But that's enough McDavid discussion for today. We have to trade everyone in this organization. Every player in this organization will be traded away. We're not trading them for rookies though. We're just trading them away and bringing in new players. McDavid, you shouldn't be forced to develop alongside a handful of rookies. You are what you are, which is the best player in the game. I'm going to give you a new supporting cast, a cast that can actually help you a bit, and maybe, just maybe, you're going to win a Stanley Cup in this video. Now the first thing we have to do is figure out where Leon Draisaitl can be traded. So we all know Leon Draisaitl, he has a no movement, so I just gave him a 29 team no trade. So the 3 tradable teams that he can be traded to are the Blackhawks, the Montreal Canadiens, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think there is a very good chance you end up on Chicago because I think they're really going to be the only team that's going to have the cap space for you. In saying that, I could trade you over to the Montreal Canadiens, and we could pick up Lane Hutson, and we could pick up Cole Caulfield. And that would be a very interesting trade that I'm definitely going to do. And not only can we pick up Cole Caulfield and Lane Hutson, we could probably bring Nick Suzuki in as well. Nick Suzuki, Lane Hutson, and Cole Caulfield all in the Edmonton Oilers alongside Connor McDavid. No, that's a super team right there. We're going to have to throw somebody else into this deal that has a little bit of money. Jack Roslovic, you could be sent over, but he's going to be saying no. Matthias Ekholm, maybe I throw you into this deal. The Edmonton Oilers would be over the maximum salary cap for next season. Who has a bunch of money we could throw into this deal? Like Trent Frederick, can I trade you over to the Montreal Canadiens? You're going to be saying no to that. Mangiapane, can I trade you? He's saying no to that. I guess we could trade Evan Bouchard. That would definitely make things work here. Montreal would be over the salary cap, but we can make this work. So how about you give me Caden Gooley as well, then we would be over the salary cap. Okay, we need to take on a somewhat cheap player for 1 season. Who is making like $2 million on the Montreal Canadiens that we can bring in for just 1 season? I guess Kirby Dach's making 3.3. He wouldn't affect us for next season. Maybe that's the answer, and I think it is. So what we're going to do is Cole Caulfield, Lane Hutson, Nick Suzuki, Kirby Dach, and then give me a first round pick as well. All of this for Leon Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard. We could probably get a little bit more in a different deal, but I really like this deal right here. Much Montreal's accepting the trade, and deal number 1 is finally complete. So while we try to go figure out what deal number 2 is going to be, if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel. You already know what the drill is around here. We're trying to hit 90k subs by the end of the month, and we're not going to be able to do that if you don't subscribe. So make sure you hit the button down below right now. Now, when we made that last deal with the Montreal Canadiens, we took on a lot of money, so we're looking to save a little bit in this deal. In saying that though, Jackson Lacomb's contract is going to be a little bit expensive moving forward, but we're going to find a way to make it work. Jake Wallman's being sent over, Seneca and Lacombe are both being brought in. This is a great deal for us. We're getting a little bit younger, but Seneca's under contract for the next 3 years on his entry level deal, so that's going to help us. Now, I think we got incredibly lucky with this deal because I have no clue why these two guys fit your trade block, but Matt Savoy and Darnell Nurse for Seth Jarvis. Yeah, he's going to be an amazing piece alongside Connor McDavid. I'm not going to lie, I feel like our bottom 6 is going to be very weak this season, but just give us 2 or 3 years for the salary cap to go up, and with everyone on these long-term deals, they're going to age really well. We're going to be able to fill out the bottom 6 with some better players. It's all going to work out for us in the end. I wouldn't mind bringing in a defenseman here, and I think Nikishin might be that guy, because I think I might be able to re-sign him on a pretty cheap deal. So we're going to do Matt Savoy and Darnell Nurse for Seth Jarvis and Nikishin. In what universe does this make sense? In no universe, because this shouldn't be accepted. They're going to be saying no though, and that's what they should be saying. But what if I throw in 2 third-round picks? Are 2 third-round picks enough to change your mind in this deal? It doesn't look like it. I'll take the third-rounders out. I'll take Nikishin out. We'll do Matt Savoy and Darnell Nurse for Seth Jarvis. They're saying no to that, but they just want the lucrative 7th-rounder. Once we throw in this lucrative 7th-round pick, we're walking away with Seth Jarvis. That's a steal. Now, not every deal we do can be a massive splash for us. Like, we can't be bringing in a ton of money with every trade. So with this one, we're going to try to clear up some cap space. Nugent Hopkins is being sent over to the Red Wings. Finney, Johansson, and Nygaard are all going to be brought in. These are 3 cheap players that can play decent roles on our team. Nygaard is probably going to spend another season in the AHL though, because he's only a 75 overall right now. Detroit's willing to accept this, but I think we should try to get at least a 3rd-round pick as well. But maybe not a 3rd-round pick. How about we get a 4th and 5th rounder? I still think they're going to be willing to accept that, and it looks like they are. Now, I'm just kind of curious if it would be possible for us to walk away with a guy like Kevin Korchinski. So Zach Hyman and Kirby Dach are both going to be sent over. I actually don't think we're that far off in trade value, so maybe if I throw in a guy like Matthias Ekholm, we can get this done. And is Chicago going to be willing to accept that? It looks like it. Kevin Korchinski, you can be a great defenseman for us in the future. I know we can get something else in this deal, so how about we bring in Oliver Moore? Are they willing to send Oliver Moore over as well? They're going to say no to that. How about you just give me a 7th-round pick? Just give me a little bit of draft compensation, maybe even a 4th-rounder. I'll take a 4th-rounder back. They're saying no. We'll take the 4th-rounder out. So Hyman, Kirby Dach, and Matthias Ekholm are all being sent over. Kevin Korchinski, welcome to the Edmonton Oilers. Now, when it comes to goaltenders, what do you know about stick on the ice legend Joseph Woll? NHL 26 Joseph Woll, bro's a beast. So we're sending Jack Roslovic and Stuart Skinner over. Joseph Woll is going to be joining the team. I'm actually a little bit surprised both of these guys are going to be enough and we're actually going to be able to get a pick in this deal. But you know what? I won't say no to a pick. Throw in a 3rd-rounder Toronto and we can do this deal. Now, Rasmus Andersson, I think you're a little bit undervalued in this game. Like, when I look at your trade value, it doesn't really represent an exact elite potential player who's an 87 overall. So Isaac Howard and Brett Kulak's going to be sent over. We'll throw in a couple picks as well, but I think Rasmus Andersson could be a really good defenseman for us that we should be able to re-sign on a pretty decent price. So I'll throw a 2nd-rounder in, but that's not going to be quite enough. How about another 2nd-rounder? I'll do 2 2nd-rounders, Isaac Howard and Brett Kulak. Is that enough for Rasmus Andersson? They're going to be accepting immediately. For a second, I thought I threw a 1st-round pick in by accident, but I guess that's not the case. Calgary's going to be accepting, and we just got another elite defenseman. Also, I'm just going to bring this up now because I've seen this far too many times in the past 2 days. Majapani, you are interested in going to 3 teams: the Blackhawks, the Red Wings, the Toronto Maple Leafs. For some reason, whenever I give players 29 team no trades, they always want to go to either Toronto, Chicago, Detroit, the Rangers, or the Montreal Canadiens. I feel like it's always those 5 teams that players want to go to. I've never given a player a 29 team no trade and they've said, I want to go to the St. Louis Blues. Not a single player has ever said that. and it's a little bit disrespectful. So yeah, we're going to make another deal with the Chicago Blackhawks. I think the best thing we can do is just bring in a bunch of picks. Like, we've traded a lot of things away. Having a couple draft picks in the franchise probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Can we get a second and third rounder? They're saying no. I'll take the third rounder out. Can we at least get a second round pick here? They're saying no to that. I guess we have to trade a seventh in order to get a second. I guess the real question is, do we even have a seventh round pick? Yes, we do. So a 2027 seventh round pick is going to be thrown in this deal, and we still can't even get a second. Now we're about to get fleeced, aren't we? So how about 2 third-round picks for Mangiapane and Podkolzin? Is this enough? Wow, we are getting fleeced. 1 third-round pick. Here you go, Chicago. This is an absolute no-brainer for us. Yeah, no doubt, because you wouldn't accept anything else. Also, this just proves my point even more. Chicago, Detroit, Toronto. It's always those 3, plus Montreal and the Rangers. Those 5 teams are the only teams players are willing to go to. Now, after this trade right here, we're going to have to start getting some big 1-year contracts, because right now we're below the salary cap floor. We have $30 million in cap space, but that $30 million in cap space is actually very deceiving, because we have to remember there's a handful of contracts that kick in next season. So when it comes to extension dollars, we probably don't have that much. So here's what we're going to do in order to reach the salary cap floor. Matthias Janmark, Brown, and 2 third-round picks are being sent over to Columbus. Charlie Coyle and Gabranson are both being brought in. We are only doing this to reach the salary cap floor. That is the sole reason we're making this trade. Now, it's actually kind of crazy, but we've almost traded away every notable player on the Edmonton Oilers right now. The next deal we're making is Trent Frederic, Regula, and Calvin Pickard sent over to Chicago. Give me a 7th-round pick. Actually, just give me a backup goaltender. I will take a backup goaltender, especially at $3.3 million for 1 season. Chicago, you got fleeced by taking on the Trent Frederic contract. Now, I believe that's going to be the last notable trade I'm going to have to show here. I think everything else moving forward is me just flipping guys for AHL players. All the notable pieces on the Edmonton Oilers have now been traded. So yeah, let me go make a lot of trades that really aren't that important. Like, these are the types of trades I'm talking about, where we're going to be trading 5 players away for a 7th-round pick. Like, you don't need to see all of these trades right here. They're saying no to that. That is kind of crazy. I will give you a 7th-round pick in order to accept this deal. So here's a 2027 7th-round pick. I'll give you 4 AHL players on top of that. An absolute no-brainer for Anaheim. It is, but it isn't. Now, it actually turns out there is a couple more notable trades that we have to make, because we do need to bring in some money. So Kuzmenko, I'm going to try to get you from the LA Kings. They're going to be saying no to that. I guess we're going to have to throw in some draft picks. Here's a 3rd-round pick and a 4th-round pick. Hopefully that's going to be enough for Kuzmenko. That's actually more than enough. I'll take out the 4th-rounder because I don't think I have to throw that in the deal. And thankfully I took out that 4th-rounder because we definitely didn't need it. Okay, just hold on now. We actually might be cooking with a couple more deals. David Perron might be brought in for the Edmonton Oilers. We could really use another good forward on this team, because I was actually looking at our forward depth and it's atrocious right now. So yeah, here's a 7th-rounder and a 5th-rounder. That should be enough in order to get this one done. David Perron, welcome to the team. And I actually didn't even have to throw in that 5th-round pick. I just threw in the 7th. Okay, so you remember how I said that basically every trade moving forward is not going to be notable? I completely lied. Matt Poitras, I need to bring you to the team just so we have enough players here, because apparently right now we don't have enough playable players. I was not aware of this. Lysell, we might be able to get you in this deal, but I'm definitely going to have to throw in more. I guess I can give you guys a 3rd-round pick as well. Like, I don't really care too much about draft picks right now. It's all about winning Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers a Stanley Cup. So a 3rd-round pick's not going to make the difference. I'll throw in a 7th-rounder as well, because as we all know, the lucrative 7th-round pick always makes the difference, but I guess not in this deal. So maybe a slightly more lucrative 5th-round pick will make the difference. They're saying no because they want a little bit more. Maybe I don't trade Connor Ingram and I just trade somebody who has a bit more value. Then again, do we actually have anyone on this team that has more value than Connor Ingram? Probably not. Unless Petrov has more value than Connor Ingram, I don't think we're getting this deal done. So yeah, Lysell, more than likely you're coming out of this deal. Connor Ingram, I'll throw you back into it and we'll get this one done. So we'll do Noah Philp and Connor Ingram straight up for Matt Poitras. This one's going to get accepted, except it's not, because they need the 7th-round pick. Like always, the lucrative 7th-round picks always stepping up when we need it. Boston's going to be accepting the deal, and we got ourselves another great player. Okay, I think this one's a no-brainer. Corey Perry, welcome back to Edmonton. I can't believe how much they are missing you. Why has Corey Perry entered a 2nd prime? It makes absolutely no sense. I'm not going to question it though. Corey Perry, welcome back to Edmonton. You have to save this team. Now we're just about done with the trades. I think there's about 3 more we have to make after this one, but Matt Murray and Luke Evangelista are both going to be brought in for the Edmonton Oilers. Evangelista, I'm going to need you to play some good 3rd-line minutes for me. You're actually going to end up being one of the key parts of this team, and I never would have expected that. Now I have been an absolute cap artist this entire video. You remember how I said we're going to need about 3 more trades? We don't need 3 more trades. We need this trade right here, and once this trade gets accepted, we're done. For some reason, I thought we had more players left on the team. I guess we don't. Zamula, you're the final player we need, and now the Edmonton Oilers are complete. So after trading the entire Edmonton Oilers team away, except for Connor McDavid, this is what we're left with. On the first line, McDavid, Seneca, and Cole Caulfield. On the second line, we have Seth Jarvis, Nick Suzuki, and Kuzmenko. Now, there's definitely a handful of holes when it comes to our offensive core, but we can adjust that over the next couple of years. When it comes to our defense, though, Lane Hudson, Rasmus Andersson, Jackson Lacombe, Kevin Korchinski. This is looking really solid. And you know what? Let's change these lines up a little bit. I want to run something like this. Lacombe and Korchinski, I want you on the second pairing. Lane Hutson and Rasmus Andersson, you're going to be our first pairing. And then when it comes to our defense, what do you know about NHL 26 Joseph Woll? We're never going to have to worry about goaltending. I can tell you that for a fact. Now, before we dive into this season, there is one last thing we have to do: contract extensions. Now, there shouldn't be a lot of contract extensions. The main one we're looking at is Rasmus Andersson. And how much money does he want? $7.5 million. That works for me. But like always, I'm going to try to save a little bit of money. So 6.8 for the next 3 years. That works for me, Rasmus. So he is going to be rejoining the team. Kuzmenko, I'm not going to be able to re-sign you quite yet. Matthias Michelli, I'm going to keep it a stack. I don't really know if I want to re-sign you yet. Kevin Korchinski, I definitely want to keep you around. Can we do 3 years though? I'll do 3 years at $5.4 million. I could see you playing a really big role for our team in the future. I'm going to give you the opportunity to develop. You're going to turn into an absolute stud. Meanwhile, Zamula, you're probably not going to be looking for too much. 2.5 for the next 3. I can 100% do that. Matt Patra, you're probably only looking for like $1 million, and it looks like that's exactly what you're looking for. But let's do 1.1 for the next 2. And I think outside of those deals right there, we're not going to really worry about too much. So the Edmonton Oilers team is finally ready. The new look Oilers are finally ready to make a run here. Is this team going to perform better than the current Edmonton Oilers? I would hope so, because if not, we're likely going to end up getting the first overall pick, except we won't because we don't even own our first round pick. It's kind of playoffs or bust this season. Now, my new look Edmonton Oilers are looking pretty solid right now. 6th in the entire league, a 37-23-3 record, but the standings are very interesting right now. The Buffalo Sabres, who are 5th in the entire league, are in a wild card spot because the Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers, and Toronto Maple Leafs are all ahead of them. Yeah, the Atlantic Division's absolutely rolling right now. When it comes to our scoring, of course, Connor McDavid's the top guy, no surprise there. Cole Caulfield, 73 points, Nick Suzuki, 62 points, Seth Jarvis, 51 points. Seneca's looking really good in his rookie season, 43 points already, including 10 goals. He's up to an 81 overall. I expect by the end of the season, he's going to be up to at least an 85. Kuzmenko's looking pretty solid on the second line. However, he doesn't have the greatest plus-minus numbers in the world. Neither does Charlie Coyle, but we're not too worried about that. Those two guys aren't pieces for the future. Joseph Woll certainly is, though. 23 wins, 3 shots, a 907 and a 268. I don't think we're really going to do anything at the trade deadline. We just made a ton of trades. We're not really left with too much in the system, so we really can't do anything if we even wanted to do anything. So we're not going to make any moves. We're just going to stick with the team we have. Truthfully, I think the bottom 6 scoring is what's going to hold us back in the postseason, because our bottom 6 scoring is not elite right now. Now, to finish out the season, the Edmonton Oilers were looking okay. 7th in the entire league, a 47-32-3 record. We were scoring 3.23 goals per game, but only allowing 2.95. I actually would like our defense to be slightly better. Connor McDavid, 105 points. You were absolutely dominating. Cole Caulfield, 97. Nick Suzuki, 73. Seth Jarvis, only 60 points and you were -2. I need you to be better than that. Seneca, 59. Lane Hutson, 57. And then here's our bottom 6. We definitely didn't have good plus minuses there, and we definitely didn't have good defense. Joseph Woll, 32 wins, 5 shots, a 909, a 271. You're putting up solid numbers, but I just need some more help in front of you. And that bottom 6 scoring, yeah, it's got to wake up. But I shouldn't even just say bottom 6 scoring. Bottom 6 defense needs to wake up on this team. We're taking on the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round. Our bottom 6 is going to be the thing that holds us back this season. Like, the bottom 6 is not looking great by any means, so that's going to be the thing to hold us back. Connor McDavid, you're going to do your thing. Cole Caulfield, you're going to look great. Nick Suzuki, Seth Jarvis, you guys know what you have to do. However, when it comes to our bottom 6 scoring, I don't think it's going to be good enough. I think it's going to be the one thing that holds this team back. But we are winning game number 1, but dropping game 2. Moving into game 3, it's going to be a big one. Can we steal this one away? 8 goals is going to be more than enough. The offense has woken up, but our defense hasn't. We've split the series so far with Vegas. Game number 5 is a must win for us. We can't be choking now. Luckily, we don't have to worry about it. So all we have to do is win one more game. Win me game number 6, and we're moving on to the second round, but it can't be that simple. We need game 7. Why on earth would we ever make anything simple? Why would we just take down the Vegas Golden Knights in game 6? We can't do that. We need to go to game 7. Corey Perry, he's picking up the first goal, and of course he's on the power play. Why would that not surprise me? We're exchanging goals in the second period though, so we definitely haven't won this game yet. I need elite defense in the third, and we're not really getting that, but luckily we are picking up 2 goals, and those 2 goals are going to help us win this game. So we took down the Vegas Golden Knights in a 7-game series, but they were putting way too much pressure on us, and in reality we shouldn't have been facing any of that pressure. We're moving on to the second round to take on the Anaheim Ducks. Anaheim's probably going to put on some good pressure. If they're making it to the second round, then they have to be a legit team. We're exchanging the first 2 games. Game number 3 is an important one, which we're going to be winning, but we're dropping game 4. I feel like we're off to game 7. I can almost guarantee you this series goes to 7 games once again. We're winning game number 5. Now we're going to drop game 6 and move to game 7, but I guess not. It's a Joseph Woll shutout. Hold on, this team might be onto something. But now we have our toughest task by far, the Colorado Avalanche. Now this team is absolutely rolling. It is not going to be an easy series for us whatsoever, but we're up 3-1. We are one game away from making it back to the Stanley Cup final, but here comes the collapse. The collapse in which we blow a 3-1 series lead, but we don't have to worry about it. We're in the cup final. So how about we just keep this momentum going? We have made it to the Stanley Cup final. I was questioning this team a little bit after dropping the first 2 games we won back-to-back after that. So it's a best of 3 for the Stanley Cup. Edmonton, you have lost 2 straight Stanley Cup finals prior to this. You are not going to make it 3. We might make it 3. There is no way I trade away the entire Edmonton Oilers team. We make it back to the Stanley Cup final and we lose again. There's just no way that happens. David Perron's picking up the first goal of the game. We're exchanging goals in the second. Please play defense in the third period. Not only are we playing defense, but Eric Branson's picking up an empty netter. No, we have to win now. No, like if we have Eric Branson picking up playoff goals for us, we need to win. Yes, it was an empty netter, but it was still a goal in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final from Eric Branson. We need to win now. We cannot fold. We're allowing the first 2 goals of the game, both of them coming from Svechnikov. Moving into the second, Matias Maccelli is going to be responding. Please respond in the third period. Let's end this video soon. We'll do it in 1 year. That'd be the perfect way to cap this video off, is just winning in season number 1, and we still have a chance. Lane Hudson's picking up a third period goal. 1 more goal is all I need. I just need 1 more goal, and we did not get that goal. Logan Stankoven in overtime at 11-11. He's going to pick up the OT winner, taking down the Edmonton Oilers. Nah, this is heartbreaking. We made it to Game 7. The Edmonton Oilers organization has now lost 3 straight Stanley Cups. Nah, there is no way y'all folded like that. We had a chance to do it. We had a chance to win the Stanley Cup in year number 1, and we just couldn't do it. Suzuki, 29 points, 12 goals, 17 assists. McDavid, 24 points. Seth Jarvis, 23. Kuzmenko, 22 points, 7 goals, 15 assists. We're not going to get that production again from him because he's probably not even going to be on the team. Corey Perry, 9 goals, 6 assists for 15 points. Seneca, 15 points. Nah, this is a heartbreaker right here. Joseph Wall even put up incredible numbers. 15 wins, 3 shouts, a 923 and a 231, but it doesn't matter. We lost the most important game. Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final to the Carolina Hurricanes. Nah, that was a heartbreaker right there. But you know what? We have a lot of the main pieces around. We have the core pieces we're building our team around still. We will be back. Also, I don't recall if the Montreal Canadiens made the playoffs. We do own their first round pick. So that pick might end up actually being incredibly valuable. What is it going to turn into? The 15th overall. For a second, I thought it was the first overall pick because Carolina got that from Dallas. But nope, we're just getting the 15th overall pick from the Montreal Canadiens. Low key, we actually might use that in a trade. And when I say low key, I mean high key. Like there is a 90% chance we trade that pick. Also, for some reason, I actually didn't process it. The Carolina Hurricanes just beat us in the Stanley Cup final and then got the first overall pick. Yeah, for some reason, I didn't really comprehend that as it happened, and they're getting a medium franchise potential player. Now, that is just not fair. Now, here's the plan with the 15th overall. I'm going to bring Kaapo Kakko onto the team. I think there's a chance that he actually jumps into a top 6 role. Seneca, I think, will move you down to the second line, and then you'll play alongside Nick Suzuki and Seth Jarvis. That will just give us a little bit more offensive depth. The 15th overall for Kaapo Kakko actually might be a little bit too much, so maybe we can get a future 3rd round pick as well. Picking up a couple future picks in this deal probably isn't the worst thing in the world, so Seattle's going to be rejecting that deal. I'll take the 4th round route. Actually, I'm taking the 3rd round route apparently. And you know what? Apparently, I'm taking all the picks out. The 15th overall for Kaapo Kakko. I think this is going to turn out to be one of the best trades I've ever made. And then after trading the 15th overall, we can just simulate through the entire draft because we don't have any picks. Now, we have like 90% of the team signed, but there is a couple guys that we could bring back. Matias Maccelli, to play bottom 6 minutes, I can give you like 2.6 million. That's not a bad contract at all. Charlie Coyle, Kuzmenko, David Perron, I think all of you guys are going to be walking. I can find cheaper and younger replacements. And then when it comes to goaltending, yeah, we'll just pick up a new goaltender in free agency as well. We're going to have a little bit of money to work with, and I'm excited for what we're going to be able to do next season. So right now we have $13 million in cap space, and we only have 2 players that we have to re-sign, or at least 2 players we can re-sign right now. Luke Evangelista, here's $2.4 million for the next 2 years. Johansson, we can probably bring you in for really cheap. Here's 1.6 for the next 2, and then Matias Maccelli, we'll figure that one out later. But right now, things are looking really good. $13 million moving into free agency. We just need to sign a couple players to the bottom 6 in the 3rd pairing defense. things are looking up for the team right now. So I think what the plan is, we just need to find cheap players looking for 1-year contracts. However, I don't want to bring in some guys that are super old like Char Van Riemsdyk. He's 34 years old right now. That doesn't make sense. Corey Perry's 41. Jack Drury, on the other hand, we can definitely do something. I know this isn't a 1-year deal, but $2.1 million for the next 2 years, I think that's pretty solid. He's going to be accepting immediately. He's going to be a good bottom 6 piece for us. Even if they're not the highest overalls in the world, I wouldn't mind bringing a couple guys to the team. As long as their names are not Vinny Desharnais or Nick Leddy, then I'll be perfectly fine. Or Zachary Bolduc. I don't want to bring him to the team either. But a guy like Zach Jones, honestly, he wouldn't be the end of the world. Here's 1.9 for the next 2 seasons. Also, Michael Carcone, I haven't seen you enough so far in NHL 26, so here's 1.9 for the next 2 years. Stick on the ice legend Michael Carcone, welcome to the team. Now, I think the last thing we have to do is just find a really cheap backup goaltender. Give me somebody for 1.1 million. Tarasov, you can be that guy. Here's 1.2 million for 1 season. Now let's go make some trades. So what I'm looking to bring in here is probably a sniper and a power forward. So Nick Robertson, you're going to be our sniper. A 3rd and 5th round pick is going to be sent over to Toronto. That's not going to be quite enough. We'll throw in some more depth picks and that will probably be enough. So here's another 5th round pick. If I have to throw in a 7th, I will, but it doesn't look like I have to. Now, Nygaard, I was thinking you were going to be a good bottom 6 player for us, but you know what? Just the way I'm building my roster, I actually don't see a role for you this season. So I'm going to trade you over to the St. Louis Blues. We're going to try to bring in Jimmy Snuggerud. We're going 1-for-1. Not really too sure why St. Louis would go 1-for-1 there, but I'll definitely take it. So in year number 2 with the Edmonton Oilers, this team's looking incredible right now. Kaapo Kakko, I'm going to play you on the first line this season. Seneca, you're playing with Nick Suzuki and Seth Jarvis. The only reason I'm doing this is Kaapo Kakko's primary position's right winger. Seneca's primary position's left winger. If I were to have Kaapo Kakko play on the second line, he'd be out of his primary position. I doubt that would make any difference. But yeah, these are the lines I'm running this season. The defense is still looking great. Goaltending is what it is. Joseph Woll, I believe in you. I've seen what you've been able to do with this Edmonton Oilers team. All I need you to do this time is win 1 additional game. Win me 1 more game in the playoffs and we'll be Stanley Cup champs. So once again, the Edmonton Oilers are going to be absolutely flying. 5th in the entire league, a 37-20-7 record. 3.39 goals per game is pretty solid. And 2.88, I can't complain about that defense. Connor McDavid, of course, like always, you're carrying the way here. That's no surprise. 31 goals and 40 assists for 71 points. Cole Caulfield, 69. Seth Jarvis, 52. But look at Kaapo Kakko. This is the reason I picked you up. 16 goals, 35 assists for 51 points. Nick Suzuki, 50 points. Lane Hudson, 48 points. Seneca, 45. The depth scoring on this team is going crazy. And then Joseph Woll, 30 wins, 2 shouts, a 910 to 280. These numbers aren't surprising me at all. Now, I think there is a chance that we can actually compete for a Stanley Cup this season. I actually know we can compete for a Stanley Cup. But we actually have some assets we could use to improve this team, so maybe we should make a trade or two. Now, Jack Drury, I signed you in free agency, and you were going to be a good bottom 6 piece for me. But since we brought you to the team, I had to move Matt Poitras over to the wing, and I don't really want to do that anymore. I'd rather have Chris Kreider play some wing minutes for me, so that's what we're going to bring in. Jack Drury straight up for Chris Kreider. We're going 1-for-1. I know Kreider can score goals, and that's what he's going to do in our bottom 6. Now, to finish out the season, not only are the Edmonton Oilers winning the Pacific Division, but they're going to be 5th in the entire league with a 47-23-12 record. If only this team could win games in overtime and a shootout. That is very funny considering the Edmonton Oilers right now only win games in overtime and shootouts. Connor McDavid, 50 goals, 54 assists, 104 points. Cole Caulfield, 96. Kaapo Kakko, 73. The offense is looking really good so far. Moving into the postseason, I'm going to need that to continue. And then Joseph Woll, 36 wins, 2 shouts, a 904 and a 295. You know what you have to do in the postseason? Just win me 1 more game this time. We're going to be taking on the Seattle Kraken in the first round. They're going to be a wild card team, so in theory they shouldn't put too much pressure on us, but I feel like they will. So Edmonton versus Seattle, we are the clear favorites heading into this matchup, but that doesn't really mean too much because once you get to the postseason, anything can happen. We're winning the first 2 games, one of those wins being a shutout. Right now, we are absolutely rolling. Yeah, Seattle couldn't do anything against us. 2 shutouts against them, now we dominated. So we're moving on to the second round. Seattle was a nice little warm-up for us, but not every series is going to be that easy. We're taking on the Vancouver Canucks next. They have Thatcher Demko, of course, and you already know what Thatcher Demko is going to do when the lights are the brightest. He's going to show up. We're down 3-1. So just like that, we play against Thatcher Demko and he completely shuts us down. The greatest goaltender of all time, apparently. There is something different about Thatcher Demko, but not anymore because we just scored 6 on him. So we're not done yet. We might have been down 3-1 the series, but we're not down yet. They thought we were down, but nope, we're coming back. We are making this comeback, and we will take down Thatcher Demko, because this isn't NHL 25 Thatcher Demko. This is NHL 26 Thatcher Demko, and I know he's just not that guy. We're scoring 6 on him once again. We're moving on to game 7. Well, technically we didn't score 6 because one of them was an empty net goal. We scored 5 against Thatcher Demko, but that's neither here nor there. We're off to game 7. People were counting us out. We were down and out, and I think actually at one point we were down 3-0 in the series. I've been talking about us making a 3-1 series comeback. We were actually down 3-0, and we won this series. Because the first game we won was game number 4, so we were actually down 3-0 at one point. We lost the first 3 games, then we won 4 straight after that. It's time for Edmonton to get their Stanley Cup. We're taking on the Colorado Avalanche once again. Last time we took on Colorado, we were able to take them down, but we're going to do that again here. We're taking down Colorado, and we're moving on to the Stanley Cup final. All I need is one more victory, and we got that victory. We're back in the Cup final. This is the 4th year in a row. We get Florida in the Cup final. Do not lose again. Whatever you do, do not lose to Florida. Now, whatever you do, don't lose to the Florida Panthers. We can't lose to the Florida Panthers. 8 goals allowed, 7 goals allowed. Yeah, I don't think we're beating the Florida Panthers. Unfortunately, we're going to be losing our 4th straight Stanley Cup final, 3 of them being to the Florida Panthers. No, we're in the trenches. I thought this was finally the year. Finally the year the Edmonton Oilers can win a Stanley Cup. That was not the case. McDavid 23 points, Suzuki 23. No, I can't even go over the scoring on this team. We lost in the Stanley Cup final once again. Joseph Woll, 4 shutouts. What is it going to take in order for us to win? Like, seriously, 4 straight Stanley Cup finals. Granted, I didn't rebuild this team for 2 of those finals, but the last 2, that was all me, and we lost in both of them. Edmonton might be cursed. Like, they actually might be. Also, before we get to the draft, Jimmy Snuggerud, how much money do you want? You want 2.5 for 1 season. What if we did multiple years? I'll do a 2-year deal with you. I'll do 2.9 for the next 2 seasons. We have a lot of cap space. Matthias Mitchell, you're interested in returning to the team. You want 2.8 million. I can definitely do that. And then Chris Kreider, you're not interested in returning, so I'm not going to bring you back. Also, I signed these guys to play in the AHL because apparently we didn't have enough players under contract. But yeah, none of those guys are coming back to the team either. Tarasov might come back though. If you're willing to sign for like 900K, 800K for the next 2 years, actually I'll make that 900K for the next 2. Tarasov will come back to the team. Now we only have 1 draft pick to work with, and I would have preferred if this was the 32nd overall pick, because if it was the 32nd overall pick, that means we would have won a Stanley Cup. I don't really know which of these 2 players to go with. We'll go with the defenseman that compared him to Zdeno Chara, medium top 4 potential. That's probably the best thing we could have gotten. Now when it comes to the re-sign phase, I already extended everyone I wanted to, so we don't have to worry about doing anything here. This upcoming offseason though, we do have to handle some big extensions. Connor McDavid, you're going to be getting one of them. So now that we made it to the offseason, Connor McDavid, how much money do you want? Do you want a blank check? Because I will give you a blank check. You want $17 million. I should probably just give you exactly what you're looking for. And you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Actually, I lied because I just realized we could probably save a lot of money here. And if we can save this much money, I'm going to save this much money. Connor McDavid, $15 million for the next 6 seasons. Yeah, we're saving $2.3 million with that deal. And that's probably good because we still need to re-sign Capo Caco, and he's looking for a bag right now, $8.9 million. How about we do $8.3 million for the next 3 years? He's going to be accepting that. And then Seneca, how much do you want? You're only an 84 overall right now, so we probably should be able to save a little bit of money. $6.7 million. I'm not going to lie, you're kind of bugging, but how about we do 6.8 for the next 2? You're a good young player, medium league potential now. We might as well lock you down for at least 2 more years. Patra, here's 2.3 for the next 3. Carcone, Jones, Finney, I'm not really too worried about you guys. Finney, I guess I can sign you to a 2-way contract. I'm not too worried about that. And then Joseph Woll, how much do you want? Do you want a blank check as well? Because you've probably earned one. However, I'm not going to get that crazy. Here's $6 million for the next 4 though. So we have ourselves $15 million moving into free agency. I'm just looking at bringing in guys on 1-year deals. I think that's the smartest thing we can do here. Now, who are those players going to be? Well, that I haven't decided. But Chris Kreider, what'd you do since I brought you to the team? When I brought you to the team last season, what'd you do in our bottom 6? You had 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points, and you were -8. That's all I need to see. You're not coming back to this team. Nemestikov, I don't think you'd be too bad of a bottom 6 guy, but I don't really want to go with you. I need a name to jump out at me here. I need somebody that I know is going to step up when it matters most. Bukestad, I don't think you're that guy, but we might be going with you. You know what, Ross Colton, I guess you can be that guy. I can bring you in for the next 3 years at like $2 million. I'll do 2.1 for the next 3. You can play some good bottom 6 minutes. Evan Rodriguez, you're only looking for $1 million. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Welcome to the team. I don't care if you're only an 82 overall. That's an absolute steal. Josh Doan is a UFA right now. Yeah, here's $2.7 million for the next 3. I'm not really contemplating that. I want Josh Doan on this team. And then we'll make one more deal. Basically, we just need somebody in the AHL. Anton Forsberg, you can be that guy. We'll make that a 2-way contract, but I'll give you more money, $925K. You're going to be accepting that immediately, but let's go make a trade. We have the assets to make a trade here. We have the cap space to make a trade. Let's go win a Stanley Cup. No more messing around. So here's what the trade's going to be. Luke Evangelista and a first-round pick over to the LA Kings. Laferriere is being brought in. Right now, he's an 86 overall, so that's going to be a big upgrade from Luke Evangelista. I'm hoping we can get a third-round pick back as well. They're saying no to that. I guess we're doing the first in Luke Evangelista. We might have given up quite a bit there, but we're winning a Stanley Cup this season. It's Stanley Cup or bust. We have made it to 4 straight Stanley Cup finals. Eventually, the losing has to stop, and it's stopping this season. Now, when I said we're going all in this season, I'm not messing around. Brian Rust, you are an 87 overall. We're bringing you in for 2 second-round picks. I'll throw a little bit more into this deal. I don't care what it takes anymore. We will win a Stanley Cup. We have been disappointed far too many times. The disappointment stops right now. Michael Carcone, I'll throw you into this deal. You probably will be the difference maker, and it looks like you are. So we made all the free agent signings I want. We've made all the trades I want. It's Stanley Cup or bust for Edmonton. Now, I think it's finally time we win a Stanley Cup. McDavid, Capo Caco, Cole Caulfield, Seneca, Nick Suzuki, Seth Jarvis. The bottom 6 is looking incredible here. The defense is looking absolutely fantastic. And when it comes to goaltending, Joseph Woll, you've led us to back-to-back cup finals. Now it's time for you to help us win a cup final. So this is the best team that we've had so far. Second in the entire league, a 40, 13, and 11 record. We're scoring 3.77 goals per game, only allowing 2.58. Do not mess this up. Whatever you do, don't mess this up. Things look amazing. The scoring from top to bottom looks great. There is no weaknesses whatsoever. Joseph Woll has 9 shutouts. He is playing the best hockey of his career. Do not mess this up. I cannot emphasize this enough. All you have to do is win 16 playoff games. That might sound difficult, but you have been able to win 12 playoff games for the past 4 years at the very minimum. You have made it to 4 straight cup finals, meaning you've won at least 12 playoff games in the past 4 years. Do it one more time, but this time, just win an additional 4 games. We're not making any trades. The team looks great. Don't screw this up. Alright, so we might be in a little bit of trouble here. The Winnipeg Jets are first in the entire league, a 54-19-9 record. The Edmonton Oilers, not too far back, a 52-19-11 record. So how on earth could we be in a bad position? Well, you might notice the Chicago Blackhawks are also in the Central Division, and the Dallas Stars are also in the Central Division, and the Colorado Avalanche are also in the Central Division, meaning the Colorado Avalanche are a wildcard team, and because Winnipeg finished ahead of us, we take on the first wildcard team, which is the Colorado Avalanche, the 5th best team in the entire league. So our first round matchup is going to be incredibly difficult. McDavid, 109 points, Cole Caulfield, 94 points, Jarvis, 79. Yeah, I'm going to need every player on this team to step up. All of these big time performers all have to step up for me. Goaltending, it needs to be better. Even though Joseph Woll had 43 wins, 10 shouts, a 914 and a 254, it needs to be better. The first round is going to decide this postseason. If we get past Colorado, I think we'll be in a good position. But if we lose to Colorado, then we're losing in the first round. So yeah, don't screw this up. So Edmonton, it is your year. It is your year to win a Stanley Cup. However, you're going to have one of the toughest paths possible. You're winning game number 1, we're off to a great start. We're winning game number 2 as well. If we could start off with a 3-0 series lead, that would be incredible, but that's not going to be happening. Instead, we're going to be taking a 3-1 series lead, win me one more game against Colorado, and then we can move on to the second round. Maybe things are better than I thought. We just took down the Colorado Avalanche. I thought they were going to put a massive fight up against us. I guess that's not the case. We're moving on to the second round, and now we have the LA Kings. Now, the LA Kings weren't quite as good as the Colorado Avalanche, so I think this series might actually end up being a little bit easier for us, but we've dropped the first 2 games. Don't make that the first 3 games. We just about got swept. But luckily we did win game number 4. Now we have to win a handful after that. We're winning game number 5 and we're jumping into game 6. Every game before this doesn't matter anymore. Just win me game number 6 and then win me game number 7. Seneca's picking up the first goal. Capo was picking up the second goal. Elite defense in the third is what we need, and that's what we're getting. We're winning this one 3-1 and we're off to game 7. Now, normally I would question whether or not my team can make a 3-0 series comeback, but we've already done it once in this video. We are only in postseason number 3 and we've already made a 3-0 series comeback, so how about we just win another one here? We are not losing because Cody Ceci scored. We will not lose this game. I saw Cody Ceci score a goal. I will not allow the LA Kings to win with Cody Ceci scoring goals, and luckily we don't have to worry about that. We made a 3-0 series comeback. So Cody Ceci's goal is going to mean absolutely nothing. Obviously his goal wasn't going to be the winner because it was tied 1-1, but I just refuse to lose in game 7 in which Cody Ceci is scoring a goal. That just can't happen. We're taking on the Dallas Stars next and we are absolutely flying. A 3-1 series lead. All we need is one more win, but can we get that win? We need to win game number 6. I don't want to head to game 7. Oh no. We are off to game 7. Game 7 is going to decide this series right here. We had a 3-1 series lead, but that lead means nothing anymore. It all comes down to one game, and this is the game. Cole Caulfield and Capo are picking up goals, so we just need elite defense in the third. And you know what's better than elite defense? Elite offense. We're picking up another 2, so we won this game 4-0, and we're back in the Stanley Cup final for the 5th year in a row and 3rd time in this video. But the question is, who are we going to take on? Who do we get to meet in the Stanley Cup final? The Washington Capitals. We got a different team to take on this time. Now, Edmonton, this is the 5th straight postseason where you've won at least 12 games. 12 games get you to the Stanley Cup final. You've never won 16 though. It is time to win game number 16. Win me 4 more games. That's all I'm asking for. We won game 1, we won game 2, and we won game 3. 2 of those games being shutouts. Shut them out one more time. Just take down the Washington Capitals and you can finally be Stanley Cup champions. Do not collapse now. They won. They finally won. The Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup champions. After dropping back-to-back games 3-1, I thought this team was cooked. I thought they were going to completely collapse, but they didn't. They're finally Stanley Cup champs. Now, of course, with this team finally winning a Stanley Cup, McDavid's leading the way. 17 goals, 15 assists for 32 points. Suzuki, 29. Capo 24. Cole Caulfield, 22. The offense was amazing from top to bottom. But Joseph Woll, you finally did it. You won game 16 in the postseason. You won them that 16th game, and because of that, they're Stanley Cup champions. You also had 4 shutouts, a 916, a 255 in the process. The Edmonton Oilers are finally Stanley Cup champions. So Stan Bowman, call my line. I'm ready to replace you any day now. I am fairly confident I can build a better Edmonton Oilers team than what they've constructed over the past couple years, because basically every free agent they've brought in over the past couple years, they've given a no movement or a no trade to. And then after 1 year of that player being an absolute disaster, they have to pay a premium just to get rid of said player. Edmonton is incredibly desperate, so any trade they make over the next coming weeks, you're gonna have to pay a premium. Like, realistically, if Edmonton is actually inquiring about Jordan Binnington to fix their goaltending situation, number 1, it won't, because your defense is so atrocious, no goaltender is gonna survive in that system. But 2, it's gonna start with Matt Savoy and a 1st round pick. That's the minimum you're gonna have to give St. Louis for Jordan Binnington, because we know you're desperate. And if you really think Benner's going to save your franchise, it starts with Savoy and it starts with a 1st round pick.